In this video, we are going to be talking about writing an equation of a line given 2 points. So in this case, you'll notice this is different because we have before had the slope or had a graph or had something to reference. But instead this time we only have 2 points. So in order to find my slope between 2 points, I need to make sure I know this formula here. So what this is saying is that my slope is the same thing as the distance between my y values of a point over the distance between my x values of a point. So if I were to be doing this on a graph of some kind and I had a line right here, I would be saying this is the y value, my change in y, and this is my x. So this is my change in x and this is my change in y. So we're talking about the vertical distance and then the horizontal distance when we're looking at this formula. So make sure you know this before you move on. If you need to pause and copy it, please do that. So first thing I need to do is find my slope. So remember, we are talking about the equation y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So to find our slope between 2 points, I want to first label which is which. It makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to call this x1, comma y1, x2, comma y2. So it makes it a little bit easier when I'm following my formula down here. So my y2 value is -3. My y1 value is 2. So I have -3 minus 2 over x2, which is -2, minus 0, which is our x1 value. From there, we get -5 over -2, and a negative divided by a negative gives us a positive. So now that I know my slope, I should be able to find my y-intercept, and very similar to what we have done previously. So I right now have y equals 5 over 2x plus b. It doesn't matter which point I use. I can pick either one. They're going to give me the same result because it's a line that's going through these. So I'm going to use x1 and y1 for my x and y values. So my y value is 2. My x value is 0 plus b. So 5/2 times 0, well, anything times 0 is 0. 2 equals 0 plus b, which means that 2 is equal to b. So that means my equation of the line is y equals 5/2 x plus 2. So now we're going to do that again. If you don't need more examples, that's totally fine, but there will be 2 other examples in this video just in case you need to see it a couple of times or want to practice it yourself. So the next one, I have these 2 points. Again, I'm going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. And from there, I'm going to find my slope. So m is equal to y2, which is -4, minus y1, which is -1, all over x2, which is 1, minus 0, which was my x1. So now I'm going to add straight across. -4 minus -1, well, a negative times a negative is a positive right there. So that means I have -3 over 1 minus 0, which is 1. So my slope is -3. So from there, I have y equals -3x plus b. Now again, it doesn't matter which point we pick, you're always going to get your y-intercept. So I'm going to pick this point instead this time, just to be different, right? So my y value is -4. My x value is 1. And now I'm going to solve for b. So I have -4 is equal to -3 times 1, which is -3, plus b. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. to isolate my b. And I get -1 is equal to b. So my equation of the line is y equals -3x minus 1. So this last example is going to be kind of a tricky one. And they do come up sometimes because sometimes we get lines that aren't perfectly diagonal. Sometimes we get lines that are vertical, and sometimes we get lines that are horizontal. So this is going to be an example of a line that is just horizontal. So again, I'm going to try and find my slope. And I'm going to label this y1 or x1, y1, x2, y2, and go through the same process. So I have 2 minus 2 on top and 0 minus 4 on the bottom. That leaves me with 0 over -4, which is just a slope of 0. So when that happens, I'm just going to plug it in and say y equals 0x plus b, because I still have to solve for b. I'm going to pick whichever equation I feel like, or whichever point I feel like. So let's go with the second one here. So 2 is my y value, 0 is my x value, 0 times 0 is 0. So we find that b is equal to 2. So instead of writing y equals 0x plus 2, I'm just going to have y equals 2. And that's going to be a horizontal line through y is equal to 2.